What's going on, guys? My name is Brandon, and today we're going to be servicing and winterizing my pressure washer. And the strangest thing, we're also going to be doing some metal fabrication within it. I know, seems weird, but I'll explain in a minute. Let's get going. This pressure washer has sit for an entire season without being run, and because of it, it's now surging. So when it's running, the motor is like racing up and down, and it's just not running good. So we're gonna have to take the carburetor apart and clean it. It looks like the carburetor is attached to the gas tank, so this is gonna be a little bit of a learning experience because I've never taken that style apart. This is a 2200 PSI pressure washer. 2 years ago, I left this in my garage, which was unheated, and left it there for the whole winter. When I went to take it out in the spring, I completely forgot about it. The pump, the pressure washer pump, had completely split. As soon as I hooked water to it, it began dumping water everywhere. So I replaced the pump with a 3500 PSI unit. This new 3500 pressure washer pump is a lot taller than the one that was there. The inlets and outlets used to come through here. They no longer do that. I had to make my own provisions. In fact, you can see right here where I've got some spacers. I had to space it down, and then I had to add this little piece here so that this could come out through. This wheel actually used to go through there. That used to be up here. So I had to build this little metal frame to jack this whole thing down. I know it seems like a lot of work just to have this pump on here, but I want to say I think I paid around $60 for this pump, and all the other work that I had to do was just kind of like on my own. So I couldn't replace this pressure washer for 60 bucks, so me buying a $60 3500 PSI pump was much more cheaper than buying a new one. And it actually runs this pump really good. The one issue that has resulted because of this is you can see how this all bolts up, how it used to bolt up. Look where the drain plug is for the oil. The other pump used to have a little offset. This little leg went down, over, and up to allow for that little removal of that. We're going to have to come up with something to get that plug out of there so I can drain the oil. I'm not quite sure what. What I did last year, or the year before, is I skipped a year on draining this because I don't use it very often, is I actually unbolted the pump, pulled it away from the motor, loosened the plug, then put the pump back. I want to find a better way of doing it because that's too much work every year. And while we got it here, we might as well check the plug. But in order to get to the carburetor, I pretty much got to pull all the plastic off this thing. So that's what we're going to do right now. Alright, so I literally don't have a clue what I'm doing right now. There's some screws, it looks like, that attach this to the gas tank. Oh, those are in there. Impact them out. Feels like something's still holding it on, unless it's this hose. Okay, so it looks like there's something right here that this part of the carburetor slides onto. Actually, it looks like the gas tank might have to go down. Yep, that's exactly what you have to do. You gotta lower the gas tank away from the carburetor. Get the gas tank right out of the way.
There.
See if we can save this gasket.
Okay. There.
Well, look at this. What kind of wizardry is this? This is all plastic. I've never seen anything like this. It's got just a little butterfly in there. I can't get over this. This is like about as cheap as you could possibly make something. This thing actually feels like a toy in my hand. Okay, that's coming out there. A little bit of crap down in there. See that? Look at that crap down in there. That's all just, it's like gel. It's like all gelled up from that ethanol fuel. The stuff is garbage. And our governor wants to add more to it, to our fuel. There, it's a little better, huh? Alright, let's get it back together. Alright, let's bring it outside and see if it made a difference. I'll be darned, it fixed it. Alright, let's get it in the workshop. Let's also take a quick look at this plug. I've never changed it, so probably wouldn't hurt to pick up a new one. Well, actually not running too bad. See the electrode down in there, it's a little wet on the threads because I tipped it up on end, but all in all it looks pretty good. But I'll get a new plug. It's never had one. This pressure washer is I don't know, 12 years old, and I've never put a plug in it. So now I got to get that out. And usually you can just use like a 3/8 ratchet and just stick the ratchet in that square slot and get it out, but not enough clearance. So I think I got an idea. Who said there wouldn't be any fabrication in this video? Plus it gives me a chance to try out one of these diamond blades. Whereas it's a continuous rim, as opposed to these, it shouldn't chatter. So let's give it a try. This is hardened, so it should be interesting. That was easy. Now I just got to take that little bit of shoulder off it. Alright, so if I got lucky, this should work. Yeah, loosened it. I remember when I put it in there, I put it in super tight thinking if it vibrated loose I wouldn't be able to get it tightened again. I don't know, maybe it's quicker just to take the pump down. Now as long as the plug will come out, we'll be good. Huh. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Well, you know what? It comes out enough to get the oil out of it, so that's all that matters. So there it is. It works. It sure beats taking the pump down. It's not pretty, but it works, right? Alright, we'll let this finish up draining, and then we'll get some new oil in it. So while the oil's draining, this is what we're going to do. We'll flush out the pump and get it ready to store. And what I do is I break the connection to the wand and then put some of this on it. And what this is, it's a silicone compound, and it's made for lubricating rubber and plastic. It resists moisture and corrosion and oxidization. And that's what will happen. This little O-ring seal that's down in here, it'll actually corrode into this fitting. So I put a little bit of Never-Seez on the threads, and then I put a little bit of the silicone around the O-ring so that that doesn't bind up into here, because it will. Just with a season of letting it sit, it will corrode, the O-ring will go bad. So I do that just before winter, so it kind of conditions it and it stores it that way all winter. Alright, so that's all screwed back on. So right after that time I was telling you that the pump froze over the winter and it split open, I made myself an adapter as a precaution, okay? So this goes on where your hose inlet would go, and it has a air fitting on the end of it, and I'll show you exactly how it works. Super simple. So all my stuff has quick disconnects for my garden hoses, so that just goes on like that, okay? Then I take my wand, okay, and open up the valve, pull the trigger on the wand, you know what I'm saying? So I have the trigger pulled right now, and we're just going to feed some air into it. See that? And what I'm doing right now is I'm forcing all the water that's in that pump out. There it goes. That's it. So then what I do is I put a pump conditioner in it. Now come back to your inlet, your water inlet. And I get a couple uses out of this. It's not made for 2 uses. I think it's made for 1, but I don't use it a lot because I've blown out this entire system. Only thing that's really left in there is a little bit of moisture and maybe a little bit of water and a few pockets here and there. So that's what the stuff looks like. It's like a green. It smells good too. So anyways, this is what I do. So I take this. This is about half full right now. I used it last year. Screw this on, then just tip it up and give her a squeeze, okay? Pull it carefully, because what that does is that'll operate the pistons inside the pump. That's how I do it anyways, and that'll help also bring in some fluid. You don't want it to start right now, especially because we don't have any oil in it. That'd be pretty disastrous. It'd be even worse because I have the kill switch not hooked up. So it would just start and, yeah, not good. Alright. So yeah, I used about a quarter of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fitting back on. I'm going to do this twice. And I'm going to push that conditioner, or that pump protector, I'm going to push that in to the pump with my air. So same thing again. I've got the trigger squeezed, and we're just gonna it's starting to come out green now. So that's the stuff. There, so we're good. There. Now this pump is ready to be stored, at least the pump part of it, without worry of a freeze up. And that's all I do. And I still got probably about that much, so that'll get me another year out of this. So when I go to put this away next winter, I'll have enough to do that. Alright, the oil's all out of it. Time to get this thing buttoned up and get some oil in it. There, and the best part is I didn't have to take the pump down to do it. You know, 3/8 bar stock would have done it too, but I just didn't have any, so I had 1/4 inch, like key stock. I had 1/4, but I didn't have 3/8. In between, as I've been adding and checking oil, I just started putting it back together a little bit. And there we are, right to the full mark. And that's all there is to it. I put a new spark plug in it. Now that pressure washer pump was just a generic
pump. I can't even remember where I got it, but it's been working great. Obviously, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but now that I have that little fabricated tool that I made, we should be all good there. One of the big issues with this ethanol type fuel that we have is that when you store it, it just goes bad quickly. It attracts moisture. Now, fortunately, they still make the old gas. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, the old unleaded gas. Well, that's what I try to run in all my lawn and garden equipment. I don't run that in my cars because, you know, you're going through it, you're cycling through the fuel a lot faster. But for like lawnmowers and your garden tractor or whatever, snowblower, pressure washer like this, I run the old gas. It's a little more. At the time of this video, it's about $3 a gallon for 91 octane. So if you guys are wondering where you can buy that old gas or the regular old gas that's ethanol free, I'll put a link to a website down below where you can search. It does all 50 states and Canada. So it's important to me. And I also put seafoam, that seafoam liquid. I showed you that in last week's video. I'll put a link up above to that, but I swear by that seafoam. It stabilizes your fuel. I also add it to that ethanol-free gas that I use, so I just enjoy it. So stay tuned. Next week, we're going to have a fabrication and welding video. There's a new video every Friday, so if this is something that you like, please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Until next week, guys, I'll see you then. Stay safe. See ya.